I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. Today in the NFL, the Browns are in search of their first win as they take on Green Bay at home at 1, while the Bengals without Joe Burrow travel to Minnesota kickoff at 1 p.m. Last night in Big Ten action, 19th-ranked Indiana rolled 9th-ranked Illinois 63-10. Fernando Mendoza threw for 5 touchdowns. John Mateer and 11th-ranked Oklahoma continued their hot streak as they beat number 22 Auburn 24-17. Bryce Underwood and 21st-ranked Michigan staved off Dylan Raiola and the Nebraska Cornhuskers 30-27. And then today in baseball, the Cleveland Guardians travel to Minnesota to take on the Twins at 2:10. The Guards just 1 game back of the Tigers for the AL Central. And then the Cincinnati Reds host the Cubs at 1:40. They sit 1 game back of the wild card. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Your boss won't listen to you. Your spouse doesn't listen to you. Your kids barely know you're alive. But here at The Fan, we love and appreciate you.
Just when we learn to appreciate what a huge wussy you are.
This is the show for the people, by the people. It's the Fan Call-In Show.
Presented by the ESPN Bet Sportsbook inside Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Here are the leaders of the Lunatic Fringe, Scotty Vegas and Ryan Baker.
You know, Scotty, I thought maybe because Ohio State was on a bye that I wouldn't be this tired coming in this morning, but I'm still pretty tired. There was a lot of good college football on yesterday. Welcome into the Fan Call-In Show, brought to you by the ESPN Sportsbook over at Hollywood Casino. I'm Ryan Baker. He is Scotty Vegas, and I know there's a lot of things you want to talk about after yesterday's college football Saturday.
And Ryan, I'm not tired at all. And I was up watching USC Michigan State, which started at 11 o'clock last night.
You did not watch that whole game.
Not the whole game.
You did not watch the whole game.
Not the entire game, but I did wake up multiple times because I had bets on it just to check and make sure USC was actually winning the game. Yes, good morning. It is the Fan Call-In Show. It is your show. The number to call us, 614-821-9710. And the best calls of the day get to go to the Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We got passes to give away. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I want to get into this morning, including what's the number one takeaway that you had from the college football world yesterday? It could be that Clemson and Dabo are dead and gone.
And I was dead wrong.
Yeah, that was true. You were calling for Clemson to win the national championship. That's gone. You could also talk about maybe Indiana and the eye-popping score that they had against Illinois last night. Or maybe it's, okay, there's more teams out there that are really good than what we necessarily knew before the start of the season, including Oklahoma, Miami, Texas Tech. All of those teams had big wins yesterday. So we'll get into what's the biggest story from college football yesterday. The other thing I want to get into is our scare level for Ohio State Washington, because I watched a little bit of Washington. That Washington offense, Ryan, is very, very good and very dangerous. So Ohio State travels to Washington. We want to get your kind of danger level for that game next Saturday.
We have been talking about Washington on Bishop and Friends for a while, and Damon Williams, Jonah Coleman, and Denzel Boston, their quarterback, running back, wide receiver, that is a heck of a trio. I'll tell you something else that struck me in college football yesterday. We heard this a lot last year from Ohio State haters in the run to the national championship. Oh, it must be nice Ohio State bought their team. You heard some people try to say that, even though Ohio State mostly paid to keep their guys in school. You heard that a lot. Ohio State, $25 million to win a national championship. Maybe you can buy a national championship, because Texas Tech looked really damn good yesterday, beating Utah like they did.
Well, and you know that I was high on Utah, right? I mean, after seeing what they were doing and the O-line and D-line of Utah, I'm like, this is going to be a team that's going to be so physical. But Texas Tech was so impressive, especially defensively. I mean, they were just stopping Utah. Utah had 1 touchdown in the game, and it was a late touchdown. I mean, the Texas Tech defense, you're so used to seeing Texas Tech and thinking, okay, if they're going to win the game, they're probably going to win the game 42-39. You know, you're just used to seeing those high scores with Texas Tech. And then what did we see? We saw Texas Tech defense dominate the game against Utah. And you're right. They spent a lot of money, but they are a legit contender now. I really do believe that. And let's get into what I think was the biggest story from yesterday. And part of this is probably local a little bit, but Indiana putting up 63 points and scoring at will against Illinois. Illinois, a top 10 team. I know a lot of people can say, okay, how legit was Illinois as far as being a top 10 team? But they had a big win over an okay Duke team to kind of move their ranking into the top 10. But Mendoza, the quarterback for Indiana, I think here's the deal. Indiana was good last year, and Rourke was a good quarterback.
Yep.
They now have a great quarterback, and Indiana is legit. I know they have a tough schedule, Ryan, but I think this is a playoff team.
I'm not there to say Mendoza is a great quarterback yet, but what I will say is great is that Indiana offensive philosophy. Some of the plays they were drawing up yesterday, that screen pass to the tight end just had Illinois completely fooled. I still think Illinois is a good football team. I was super impressed with the way they called that game for the Indiana side. And Curt Cignetti, dude can coach. He's gotten under some people's skin. Some people don't like him and his brashness and his boldness and all of that. But that dude can coach. 614-821-9710 is the number for you to call in. Anything college football, anything in the sports world, right? Listen, we've got 2 baseball teams in the state of Ohio right now, Scotty, that are trying to make a push for the playoffs here. Lots of football. We got NFL we could talk about today. A couple of Buckeye receivers former Buckeye receivers dealing with injuries. Jackson Smith and Jigba, it sounds like, has a bug and he's expected to play, but it may affect him. It sounds like Emeka Ibuka's dealing with some hip and groin injuries that may have him on a snap limit today for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So a lot of things, anything in the college football world you want to talk about, 614-821-9710. Let's head out to those phone lines. Let's go to Justin. Justin, good morning. I have a feeling you're going to try to make me eat some crow here.
No, not at all. I just, I'm calling in to revel in Dabo Swinney's failure.
That's always a fair call to make. Go ahead.
I cannot believe the absolute meltdown this dude is having on the field, in practice. Like, few things are better than watching this happen. And you're watching it happen in real time.
Justin, you're absolutely right. In fact, right out of the gates, I love your call. We're going to say that you are going to get passes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We've got more to give away throughout the entire show, but Justin, getting us started and ripping on Dabo, we appreciate it.
So I understand a lot of Buckeye fans don't like Clemson because of the history there, and they don't like Dabo. And there's a lot of people that don't like Dabo. The reason I thought Clemson had a shot this year, because I thought Clemson and Penn State were pretty similar in the fact that they had a lot of production coming back, an experienced quarterback. I thought that those were reasons to bet on those teams. And the reason I went Clemson is because Dabo's a coach that has done it before. And I don't think you forget how to coach, right? James Franklin had never been there, and I think none of us have faith in James Franklin, right? But Dabo's at least proven that he's done it before. This dude looks lost right now. At the end of that Georgia Tech game last week, he looked lost, and he lost that game with 2 timeouts in his pocket. I will never understand that. Then he had, and listen, what he said in the press conference this week, a lot of what he said was right? Like, Clemson has done a lot of winning, if you don't want to win, blah, blah, blah. But it's tone deaf because you're not winning right now, Dabo. And this was not the time to say those things. And this dude, it sure seems like he's lost his fastball. And with this team that they have, there is no excuse to be 1-3 right now.
And look, you were talking national championship before the season. I thought it was a legit conversation to have with Clemson. And what the main reasons that we liked it, as you said, you're returning your quarterback from last year. You were a playoff team last year. But when you dig a little bit deeper, I think that we gave Clemson a little bit too much credit last year for kind of winning the ACC, which was a bad conference last year, barely beating SMU in that championship game. And then we gave them a lot of credit for just hanging with Texas in that playoff game. And so it was like, okay, well, you know what? Clemson kind of can show up this year. The ACC is going to be down, and Clemson can kind of run it. And it's been the complete opposite because they look terrible. And I watched almost all of that game yesterday against Syracuse. It's not just that the offense is struggling. The Clemson defense sucks. I mean, they were getting dominated. And, oh, by the way, guys, the Syracuse quarterback got hurt in the second half.
Yeah.
And
the Syracuse quarterback who couldn't win the job at Notre Dame.
Correct. And so then at that point, I thought, okay, this is an opportunity for Clemson.
You sent the text.
I sent the text. I said, there's still a quarter left. At that time, they were down 13 points, and Clemson had the ball. And I'm like, okay, with Syracuse's quarterback out, this is a chance that Clemson makes a little bit of a comeback. And what do? On the very next play, they fumble the football.
Yeah, it's just, I can't believe what's going on there. And you know what? The ACC looks like it might be decent with Miami and Florida State and Georgia Tech as well. Let's head back out to those phone lines. Let's go to Frank. Frank, good morning. Thanks for waking up early with us on the Fan Call-In Show.
Good morning, guys. I couldn't believe the thumping that Indiana put on Illinois last night.
Wow.
And then Texas Tech with a backup quarterback pulling it out against Utah. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I'm starting to believe that Indiana is a legit contender. Like, I really do. I watched them play that Indiana State game. It was a Friday night, and they threw 70-plus points on the board. And it's like, man, this offense is fun to watch. But, of course, they're playing Indiana State. So I was really excited last night to sit down and watch that Indiana-Illinois game. And by halftime, it was over, right? It wasn't even competitive at that point. And, like I told you before the show, I actually decided mid-game to invest in Fernando Mendoza. And the reason why is I look at their schedule. They have big opportunities. They have to play at Penn State. They have to play at Oregon. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be putting up big-time stats in games like against Purdue, against UCLA. I see opportunities for him to put together big-time stats like he did last night. So I did a little ESPN bet on Mendoza Heisman at 30-1. This morning I woke up to check up what those odds were. He's now 11-1.
Listen, you mentioned at Oregon in 2 weeks. Or actually 3 weeks because they have a bye after their next game at Iowa. And then at Penn State November 8th, and that'll be Penn State coming off of an Ohio State game, so maybe a little bit of a hangover there for the Nittany Lions. But if they can win one of those games, even if they lose them both, but if they can win one of those games, they're pretty much a lock for the college football playoff.
Yeah, they'd have to be
10, and you get one of those two right there.
Don't completely sleep on Iowa, though. Like, they have to go to Iowa,
for sure,
and that'll be a little tricky.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're looking ahead here, outside of those two games, it's pretty navigable. Yes, Iowa's always tough, and coming off of a big win here, could there be a letdown? I don't know. Maybe Iowa's performance. Iowa scored 38 points. That's more than they usually score in 4 weeks this week. So maybe that will catch their eye and keep them a little bit awake there. Hey, you know what else is today, Scotty? We're talking about all these sports. The Blue Jackets start their preseason. You know, that's like Christmas morning to me. So
let's go.
There is a lot of things going on. We can talk about all of it. 614-821-9710 is the number. You can also hit us up in the YouTube chat as well. Leighton, hang on the line. We will get to you next. It's the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more. People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and a multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to VanscoyHair.com for more info or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There
there is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
my debit card.
Their debit card.
Where did I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I was told you could make us feel better. You're suffering from too much junkitis. Point at something you haven't used lately. Wow, it's gone. Try it, honey. You'll feel light as a feather.
Something I haven't used?
All you have to do is point.
I feel like I'm flying.
That's the sound of optimism and energy and possibilities. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Morning Juice is now on YouTube weekday mornings starting at 6. If you're a fan of Bobby Carpenter, he's ready to attack and dominate. If you're a fan of Jeff Gutoff, drive directly to a hospital. Seriously, The Fan.
The waterworks techs have heard it all. Screeching furnaces, dripping pipes, strangled garbage disposals, overflowing toilets. Did a spooky surprise catch you off guard? Who are you going to call?
No, not them. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222. We provide better care, better value, better results, and we'll take on any drain or heating and cooling nightmare to come your way. Happy Hallow Waterworks.
Save big money on doors at Menards. Mastercraft makes great doors inside and out, building the highest quality doors in a wide variety of styles. Add beauty to your home's entryway with an exterior door from Mastercraft. Shop the best in-stock selection or design your door your way, in-store or online. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll wake up with mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 60s, and then it gets hot again this afternoon with humidity increasing. Temperatures will top out in the upper 80s to low 90s with a mix of sun and clouds, but as we get into the afternoon and early evening, there are some showers and storms that could develop. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. The Fan Call-In Show. Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. The show that allows you, the sports fan, to be the star.
614-821-9710 is the number for you to call. So you can be the star that way over at the fans' YouTube as well. Brian Bucks got a nice win on Texas Tech yesterday. He was pretty happy for that. So congratulations, Brian, and thanks for tuning in. Again, 614-821-9710 is the number. Leighton, you're not so high on Indiana yet. Tell us what you got.
Here's why. I think Indiana is a solid team, but we've seen a lot of solid teams in the Big Ten throughout the years. Northwestern always has a good run. Wisconsin's had good runs. I think what Indiana did to Illinois was legit, but how hard is it to beat Bert Bielema? I think that with Penn State and Oregon on the docket, I don't think they're going to be able to come through that unscathed as well. And then a Big Ten championship, they're going to have to play Ohio State or Michigan. And I don't think unless the Big Ten is going to get 5 teams into the playoffs, I think Indiana is going to be left out, but they're going to have a solid season for Indiana.
Yeah, Leighton, appreciate the call. We're going to hook you up with a pair of Pro Football Hall of Fame passes. And look, I'm with you. Like, I understand, as far as like we've seen teams in the Big Ten before have like these wins and you're like, okay, how legit is this? We'll know a lot more in a couple weeks when they travel. Well, first off, they have a game at Iowa, which isn't going to be easy. And then they have a game at Oregon. So we'll learn a lot more about Indiana going forward. I just think eye test wise, watching Mendoza in this offense and the creativity, you brought it up. The creativity for this offense is off the charts. And you were watching that game last night, and you just see the atmosphere in Bloomington, Indiana, that you just have never really seen. Like, how many years in a row have we watched Ohio State go to Bloomington and just completely take over a stadium? Right? They just absolutely, like, it almost looks like you're doing OHIO in Bloomington from start to finish of the game. And now you watch that game last night, and it's like, that place was rocking. It was exciting. It was fun to watch. So I'm kind of excited about Indiana. How legit is it? We'll find out in a couple weeks. But putting up 63 points against anyone is interesting, let alone putting up 63 points against a top 10 team.
And maybe you're like, well, they weren't really a top 10 team. Maybe so, but I can guarantee you that Illinois team is a top 20 team this year at least. And the Brett Bielema take there, listen, it didn't work for Brett Bielema in the SEC. That guy was a great coach at Wisconsin for a long time. It was pretty hard to beat those Wisconsin teams back in the day. And I feel like he's brought a lot of that to Illinois. He knows Big Ten style of football. So I think the Brett Bielema shot there is a little unwarranted because he can coach in the Big Ten. He has proven that before. Yeah, I think with that game, I take more away from Indiana on that than I do Illinois because I think this Indiana team, listen, Cignetti has done a good job. You say what you want about last year, they were a college football playoff team. And how weird would that be if they do get in this year? Who would have thought in the very first 12-team college football playoffs that Indiana would be in there if they make it in this year?
And I thought that game last night was kind of an elimination game as far as the playoff would go. My feeling was whoever lost that game was gone, and whoever won that game was in pretty decent position. Let's look at the rest of the Big Ten, though, because I think there were some other interesting results out there. One being Michigan getting by with the road win at Nebraska. And look, I know we all want to bury Michigan because we hate them around here, and I get it. That was an impressive win to go to Nebraska, get that done on the road in a game where Nebraska built that thing up so much, right? And playing at Nebraska is a tough place to play. But for Michigan to go in there, Ryan, come away with that win, that was big time. Like we keep kind of talking about the Big Ten and teams that can make the playoff. We can't completely forget about Michigan.
Without their head coach, too.
Without their head coach.
And we can say maybe there isn't much drop-off from Sharon to Biff, but they still did it without their head coach. Michigan is a better team than I thought. And Bryce Underwood is dangerous. I mean, this Big Ten right now, USC, their ranked team right now, they seem to be better than they have been. Indiana obviously looks really good. I think you could make an argument that Oregon and Ohio State, just like last year, are the two most talented teams in the country.
And maybe Penn State, too. You might have the 3 most talented.
And Dante Moore has been good. Nobody's really talking about Penn State right now. And if I'm James Franklin, I would be loving life because there is so much going on in the world of college football in the Big Ten alone with Indiana and Illinois and USC. And we thought maybe Nebraska and all the Michigan stuff. And gosh, Ohio State looks good. Oregon looks great. And then you go around the country. Oklahoma looks really good. Miami. What's Texas Tech right now? All of these things. I haven't heard anybody say a word about Penn State since the opening week of the season.
Can I tell you why? I will tell you why you have not heard anything about Penn State. Because they've played Nevada, FIU, and Villanova.
That's
so
fair.
what the heck is there to talk about? Now, of course,
but
this
you've
week.
got to love that, though, if you're James Franklin.
Sure.
I feel this game this week is huge.
Oh, gosh, yes. And, of course, they're playing Oregon. This coming week's college football schedule is delightful. I mean, I can't wait for this. You and I, we're going to be probably watching the game at the casino together, OSU Washington next week, and we're going to get into our kind of fear level for that game in just a minute. But listen to this for next week. The nighttime, and this is why I'm going to the casino for the OSU Washington game. I'm staying at Hollywood Casino in the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Yes, because I need 2 big screens because we got Oregon, Penn State at 7:30. You know what else we have at 7:30? Alabama, Georgia. Oh yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
listen, a lot of people have slept on Alabama since that opening loss to Florida State. They've kind of looked the part ever since. They've been playing pretty good.
By the way, 3:30 also absolutely loaded because you got LSU and Ole Miss. That's going to be a great one. You have Auburn and A&M. That should be really good. Mm-hmm. And you also have Tennessee, Mississippi State. And don't sleep on this one, the Indiana Hoosiers at Iowa.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
Baby, next week is loaded.
Let's head back out to those phone lines. Let's go to Joe. Joe called 614-821-9710. Joe, good morning. Thanks for calling the Fan.
Good morning, guys. Hey, I'm just driving back from Ypsilanti, watched Eastern Michigan get their first win of the season, but I'm a little lost about the MAC. I wonder if you guys could run down who's who and how everybody's doing.
Well, I'm going to give you the shocker of all shockers in the MAC because I couldn't believe how this played out. But Toledo, who was kind of the preseason favorite and one of those teams that a lot of people, I know, that a lot of people were talking about, oh, they could be a dark horse contender for a playoff spot if they had, but they had lost that first week to Kentucky, so that kind of went away. But that was the talk of the town was Toledo in the MAC. And then what do? They lose at Western Michigan.
Western Michigan goes for 2
on a 2-point conversion at the end. And it's a game that I just kind of threw Toledo on the money line into several parlays. And so I was kind of keeping track of this thing, and I'm just watching, and Toledo's just kind of hanging in there, not doing much. They're up 13-0, and then all of a sudden it's 13-7, and it's like, or they were up 13-6, and then Western Michigan scores a touchdown with less than a minute to go, goes for 2, wins the game, and takes out the MAC favorites. Also talking the MAC, you got to bring up OU.
Yeah. So. And, that really kind of helps clear the path a little bit, makes it easier for OU to definitely get to that MAC championship game, but also big game next week, right? OU, Eddie George, Bowling Green.
BG, yeah.
Let's go. That's a pretty big one. 614-821-9710 is the number to call. More of the Fan Call-In Show coming up in 2 minutes on the Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It works worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Buckeye fans, introducing Behind the O, the brand new app packed with original athlete and fan-driven Ohio State sports content. It's free to download in the App Store on iOS and Android, and every time you open it, you're helping generate NIL dollars for your favorite Buckeye athletes with zero cost to you. Get exclusive access to fresh behind-the-scenes videos, training routines, athlete lifestyles, and more from every Ohio State sport. Don't wait. Download Behind the O now and get closer to your Buckeyes than ever before.
Behind the O, free for fans, NIL for athletes.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I have the greatest lawn in the neighborhood every single year, and the reason why is water and Weed Man. Good news, I'm only selling you one of them. Fall is the perfect time to improve your lawn for next year. The work you do or don't do now is directly reflected next spring. If you want a beautiful spring lawn, it starts now, not next April. Now through the end of September, mention the promo code Common Man and get a free blanket weed control with the purchase of a full program. For a free quote, go to weedman.com. That's weedman.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Back to the show of the fans, by the fans, and for these crazy fans. The Fan Call-In Show. Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
It is your show. We want to hear from you. 614-821-9710 is the number to call. You can always also interact with us over at the YouTube chat. Just search 971 The Fan, and you will see the live shows there. Jason, he called that number, so we will talk to Jason next. Jason, good morning. Thanks for waking up early with us on the Fan Call-In Show.
Good morning. I just want to know, if Alabama loses to Georgia, you think the board will still be there at the end of the year, or will he be fired at the end of the year?
I think Kalen DeBoer is safe. Listen, the hardest thing to do in sports is replace the legend, and that's what he's done in replacing Nick Saban. Kalen DeBoer has never, in his head coaching career, outside of the COVID season, he has never, as a head coach at any level, never had less than 9 wins in a season. Kalen DeBoer can coach. It is hard to, again, replace the legend that is Nick Saban. And also a lot of guys transferred out of there, if you remember, when Saban left. Listen, there is a world where Kalen DeBoer could have Caleb Downs and Julian Sayin on his roster right now. And how different would that look for Alabama? I do not think if they lose to Georgia that he is in jeopardy of losing his job. But Scotty, in the break, you and I were going over this schedule for Bama the rest of the way. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But that's what you're going to find whenever you're pulling up one of those SEC schedules. Like we were talking about Oklahoma and their schedule coming up. Almost any SEC team, you pull up the schedule and like, oh boy, this is unbelievably tough. Going back on DeBoer, I appreciate the call, Jason. I will tell you this. Like one guy that comes to mind that a lot of people were like ready to jump off on was Brent Venables at Oklahoma. Yep. Okay, he had a 6-7 first year at Oklahoma. Then he went 10-3 and then 6-7 last year. And there was a lot of people like, okay, Venables isn't going to make it. He's not the guy. And now you got an Oklahoma team that's a legit contender. Yeah. Right. So it takes a little bit of time. Like you got to realize that, like, and you brought up a good point about following the legend. But again, this is year 2, right? It's so early. And if you wanted to throw him out, like the buyout is also ridiculous. So I don't think that he's going anywhere. One coach that I am worried about on the hot seat, also a big buyout, is Luke Fickell. Yeah. Because Wisconsin looks like a complete disaster. They were a 9.5-point favorite over Maryland yesterday. They lose. They look bad. That's a home game. I am definitely worried about the future for Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, which I hate because I like Luke Fickell a lot.
Here's another thing with Alabama, right? And I said the same thing last year when you heard people around here calling for Ryan Day's job, especially after the Michigan game.
Who would do that?
Tell me who you're going to get to replace him.
Yep.
Because as we said, Kalen DeBoer is a guy, no matter where he's been, never won less than 9 games in a season. So if you're going to replace that guy, you have to tell me who you're guaranteed that you're going to get that's better than him.
Right. And by the way,
don't know if
spend a ton of money.
And I don't know if there's anybody out there right now that you can say, I'm going to get, he's guaranteed better than Kalen DeBoer, except for maybe a Ryan Day, maybe a Kirby Smart, maybe a Dan Lanning. And guess what? Those guys aren't going anywhere.
No. And they tried to get Dan Lanning. That was target number 1, and he didn't do it. And I think DeBoer was still the right hire for Alabama. It's just, you and I looked at that. The SEC is just absolutely ridiculous and deep, right? You pull up, and I love to compare the Big Ten and the SEC too. And I do believe that the Big Ten might have the 3 best teams. Like if you were to match up the 3 top Big Ten teams versus the 3 top SEC teams, I think advantage Big Ten. I really do. However, it's the depth of the SEC where the Big Ten doesn't have.
And the Big Ten's depth is better this year. Without
is.
a doubt, with Washington and USC and Illinois and all of that. The depth is better this year. Just listen to this, and you can say, oh, whatever. You can poo-poo some of these teams, whatnot. But this is their rankings right now. Next week, Alabama at number 5, Georgia. Then they play number 20 Vanderbilt at number 23 Missouri. And listen, that Missouri defense is for real. And Bo Perbula looks like a pretty good quarterback.
And they beat South Carolina yesterday, is that right?
Yes. Okay. Number 15 Tennessee. Then at South Carolina. South Carolina's not ranked anymore, but this was a team that was in the top 10 to start the year. And they have a really decent quarterback in Lenoris Sellers. LSU. Oklahoma, then they get Eastern Illinois, then they finish the year at number 22, Auburn.
Woo.
I mean, that's tough. Whether you believe in Vanderbilt, believe in Missouri, any of that, that is a tough schedule. Let's head back out to the phone lines. Let's go to Joe. Joe, good morning. Thanks for calling the Fan Call-In Show.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I've about had it with the media this past 2 weeks leading up to this primetime matchup in Bloomington between Illinois at the game of the year in Big Ten. I thought that was a joke from the start. And if you want to talk about coaches on the hot seat, why is Brett Bielema never mentioned? Because honestly, he had good programs at Wisconsin, not great. He didn't leave the program how Alvarez left it. But that last night debacle, Illinois was never a 9th-ranked team, guys, honestly. And Altmaier is not anything to talk about. They just didn't show up, guys. What's your intake?
Joe, real quick, before we let you go here, and I understand, like, Bielema, people don't like him, whatever. It didn't work for him at Arkansas in the SEC. What was Illinois, though, before Bielema was there?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean, good point. But my point being is last night, you know, to me, no matter what you think of Ohio State, Michigan, that's the Big Ten game of the year. But they were portraying this game, and they didn't just lose by a few points. They made Mendoza look like the best quarterback of all time. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. It was built up as being a huge game. I think it was a huge game.
They got to get eyeballs on it, right?
You want to build it up.
That. They've got to say that. They want people tuning in last night to NBC rather than ABC watching that Florida-Miami game. That's what they do, right? They sensationalize everything. The newest thing is always the best thing. They were wrong. Of course they were wrong about that. The Penn State-Oregon game next week is a bigger game, and they're going to say this is the biggest game of the year in the Big Ten next week. Listen, was Illinois overrated at number 9? Maybe so, but that Illinois team, again, I believe is still a top 20 program this year. I think last night's game said more about Indiana than Illinois.
I'm with you. And I do believe Mendoza is a really, really good quarterback. Like I said, I invested $100 into him to win the Heisman at 30-1 last night during the game. Will it happen? Probably not, but I think it made sense as far as investment, because I don't think there's like an obvious candidate this year that's standing out as far as quarterbacks go.
Let's head back out to those phone lines. Let's go to Caden. Caden, you want to talk some Indiana, Illinois too?
Hey guys, good morning. How you doing?
Good, bud. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, that was part of my question. I didn't get to watch much college football yesterday. We had a wedding, and plus the Buckeyes were on bye weeks. But, yeah, that was really surprising to me. I'm not going to lie. I thought that Illinois would probably win the game maybe by 7-10 points, but not hating on them or anything, but just kind of curious your guys' thoughts of it. Do you take this as like, okay, Indiana might be a team to deal with in the playoffs, or do you think that it was just kind of not a fluke, but in a way that Illinois is a little bit better than that score showed?
Yeah, Caden, and look, Indiana scored 63 points against a top 10 team, right? I mean, no matter what, that is extremely impressive. We look at their schedule coming up. You have 3 games that are really tough on that schedule. They have to go to Iowa. Okay, Iowa's not an easy place to play, and that won't be an automatic win. They have to play at Oregon, and they have to play at Penn State. So those are 3 ridiculously tough games. If they win 2 of those, they're a playoff lock. If they win 1, they're in the playoff discussion, I feel like. If at 10-2, if you have 2 losses that are Oregon and Penn State on the road, it's hard to leave a team like Indiana out, especially with the eyeball test. Eyeball test tells me that Indiana looks pretty darn good.
And I feel like maybe some of us just thought, wow, there's no way Indiana can do it 2 years in a row. They had a great year last year, but it's probably kind of fluky. No way can Cignetti do it again. Well, he's kind of proven, right? He's backing it up right now, at least after that one. Now, like you said, we're going to learn a lot more about them come the next 3 weeks because they play Iowa, then they have a bye, then they go to Oregon, both of those games on the road. So,
well, and one thing to note is these teams are getting a little benefit in the fact that Notre Dame has 2 losses. So it feels like that likely opens up another playoff spot. The fact that Notre Dame has 2 losses, can't go win a conference championship, puts them kind of on the outside, and that might open up a space for maybe a 4th, maybe even a 5th team from the Big Ten or SEC.
Very well could, for sure. Let's head back to the phone line. Let's go to Joey C. Joey, good morning. Thanks for calling the Fan.
How you doing, fellas? Is Mr. Vegas there in the house?
He sure is.
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, my man? You the man, as I say.
Oh, I appreciate it.
No problem, my friend. Anyway, my question was, I was watching Dabo Swinney's press conference yesterday, and he looked very uncomfortable. And I was wondering, my question is, do you think the drop-off may be due they were late to the dance, possibly from the NIL or the transfer portal? And I don't have much love for Clemson ever since the Charlie Bauman incident, so it doesn't really hurt my feelings any. So, at any rate, anyway, I am sorry about Toledo. That hurt.
Clemson.
But, anyway,
Clemson hate from back in the 1970s. I love that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Joey. Yeah, I think that could be something, and I think that's why some people maybe didn't want to jump on the Clemson is because they've been slow. Dabo didn't want to adjust to the new age of college football. And listen, they did change up a little bit. They did hit the transfer portal some this year, but Scotty, 8 guys. That's it. And listen, I don't think their 8 guys are the caliber of the 8 guys that Ohio State. Ohio State is not going out and overhauling their roster every year with transfers, right? But they're picking, hey, here's a Caleb Downs we could get. Let's go get him. Here's a Julian Sayin. Here's a Seth McLaughlin. Oh, wait a second. Max Clare, maybe the best tight end in the country, wants to come here. Yeah, we can find a spot for them. So maybe Clemson thought they were augmenting their roster, kind of like Ohio State. I don't think they got the caliber of talent, though. It is really weird, though, seeing Dabo just look totally lost.
Oh, and I love it. And I will say this. Part of the preseason love for Clemson was our expectations that the ACC was going to suck, to be honest with you. Like that was a big part of looking at it for me was, well, this is a not very good conference. There's a great chance that Clemson is going to win it again, as they have, I think, 5 out of the last 7 years or something like that. Now, here's the deal, though. The ACC is much better than we thought because Miami is significantly better than we thought that they were going to be. Florida State is also another team. And I know they played Kent State yesterday, but they won 66-10. They're a team, Florida State, that looks legit. Like they really do. They already have that win, a 2-touchdown win over Alabama in week 1. I got to tell you, I'm circling this game October 4th, Miami and Florida State. Like, how long has it been since we've been excited and interested in Miami, Florida State, because I feel like for about 20 years, every year that was one of the biggest games. Me growing up, it was like Miami, Florida State's the big one. Huge. And for the last, 6, 8 years, at least one of them has been down, and that game hasn't been anything. So that's a game October 4th. Can't wait for.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. Again, 614-821-9710 is the number to call. Probably got room for one more, maybe two. Final segment of the Fan Call-In Show coming up next.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more. People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to VanscoyHair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit VanscoyHair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
I have a buddy who's going to be popping the question soon. He's planning everything out. He asked me, can you help me out with the ring? I said, of course I can. I've got a guy, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Now you talk, Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace. I'm your guy.
Go in, see my friends at Worthington Jewelers, tell them I sent you, and you'll get the true VIP experience.
I'll treat them better than I treat you.
That's not hard. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged. And tell them Common Man sent you.
For years, you've been hearing us talk about the Newman Roofing difference, delivering nothing short of an excellent customer experience each and every single time, from the first phone call to the end of your project. But don't take our word for it. Take a listen to our friend John and his Newman Roofing experience.
Well, the first thing that drew me to Newman Roofing is the extraordinary Google score of 5.0. That was the first indication to me that this was going to be a good experience. Overall, the experience with Newman Roofing was wonderful. When I came home, the job was completely finished. The crew had cleaned up and left. I wouldn't have known that they were there.
What star rating would you give Newman Roofing on Google?
I would, without hesitation, award Newman Roofing a 5-star rating on Google.
Any advice for those looking for a new roof, John?
Once you have contact with Newman Roofing, you'll understand why everybody's giving them a 5-point rating.
Do what John did and schedule your free roof or siding consultation with Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online today at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fan's YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom Tire buyer.
Exactly.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where did I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Enjoy all the football this weekend, but remember to join us for Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Your kids and your spouse might not listen to you, but we will. This is the Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Final segment of this week's call-in show, a bye-week edition of the call-in show. It's pretty crazy. We haven't even hardly talked to any Buckeyes.
I know.
A little nice. There was so much college football yesterday that people were wanting to talk about everything else that happened on a wild Saturday.
Well, people want to rip on Dabo.
They sure do.
People want to talk Indiana. How about that? We spent a lot of this hour talking Indiana football.
Indiana and Illinois football, both of them. Like,
Yeah.
who would have thought? It's pretty crazy. Let's head out to the phone lines. Let's go to Dylan. Hey, Dylan, good morning. Thanks for calling the Fan Call-In Show.
Good morning. My original question was about Dabo. There's been a lot of Dabo, so I'll go to this. What are you guys' thoughts on Ohio State traveling to Washington and Washington's quarterback seeming to be a scrambling quarterback who is accurate throwing the ball, and what kind of fits could he give Ohio State's defense?
Dylan, because you brought up Ohio State football, we are going to send you to the Pro Football Hall of Fame because we wanted to spend this last segment talking Ohio State football because we went 50 minutes there basically talking other college football, which is great. We love doing that. But, Dylan, we're going to send you to the Pro Football Hall of Fame with a couple of passes. I'm going to let you take it because you're higher on Washington than I am. My confidence level is still pretty high for this game. You and I, before the show, were kind of debating back and forth. What's the confidence level that you have Ohio State winning this game? I was probably 85 to 90%. I feel pretty strongly, despite the fact that this game's on the road. But you're higher on Washington.
So my confidence level is probably 70, 75% in this game. Now, I always tend to be a little more negative of a fan than you do. Listen, that trip to Washington is no joke. And I know the schedule wasn't super hard for them last year, but they were 5-0 at home last year. I think the West Coast to East Coast is a lot harder than East Coast to West Coast, which Ohio State will be doing. But it is going to be a tougher game. Damon Williams, the second half of the season last year, took over for them at starting quarterback. That guy is a really good quarterback. He can not only beat you with his arm, but he can beat you with his legs. Jonah Coleman, I know the two guys at Penn State are really good in Singleton and Allen. Jonah Coleman might be the best running back in the Big Ten. He's really good. Now, Ohio State, I'm sure, could have an argument with that, with any one of their three, especially maybe if Bo Jackson keeps going. Regardless, though, this guy is a very good running back. In Denzel Boston, a lot of places had Denzel Boston as a first-team wide receiver in the Big Ten this year. So that those three guys they have, it's a pretty good triumvirate there of guys that they can throw at this Ohio State defense. I will say this, though. After seeing what Ohio State's defense did to Arch Manning and seeing what they did to Parker Navarro, who was a pretty good runner of the football, I'm not too worried about Damon Williams beating Ohio State with his legs. I know he's an exceptional runner of the football, but whatever scheme Matt Patricia has drawn up to kind of keep quarterbacks locked in and in the pocket, it has worked pretty good so far. So I'm not as worried, I guess, about Damon Williams beating Ohio State with his legs, even though he's very dangerous. Listen, this Ohio State defense is so good. I don't know how anybody moves the ball on them, quite frankly.
So, and a couple things brings out the confidence for me for next weekend. One is Ohio State coming off the bye week. I like that Ohio State had an extra week to prepare before this trip out west. I like that a lot. I watched a decent amount of Washington last night, and they can score in a hurry. They can put up a lot of points. Washington State is a terrible team, the team that Washington played last night. They ended up winning that game 59-24. However, going into the fourth quarter, it was 31-24. Like, it was a relatively close game heading into the fourth quarter there. So they didn't completely just dominate that entire game. We don't know a ton about them. They beat Colorado State by 17. They played UC Davis 70-10, and then that Washington State game. So they haven't played anybody at all that's good. I just feel my confidence level, like, I'm right around what the spread is. I feel like Ohio State probably wins this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I feel like it won't be a necessarily in doubt in the second half at all, and I think Ohio State will be fine as far as my confidence. And I think the bye week is a big factor with this, Ryan. The fact that Ohio State gets that extra week to prepare for that long trip, that's big.
I'm kind of with you that I think the spread is pretty right on. I think it's Ohio State by 14 or 17, somewhere in there. But I think it might be a little bit like the OU game, where it's close early and Ohio State just wears on them and kind of pulls away at the end, gets a couple scores late. I think this will be a pretty competitive football game. I think you're probably looking at like a 34-20, 34-17 type game. With that being said, though, I still think that this Washington football team is really, really good. I just think Ohio State, I think from what we've seen so far, Ohio State is probably the most talented team in the country.
How about this for next Sunday? We are going to have an unbelievable call-in show because of the college football schedule we have next week.
Yes.
I mean, I cannot wait. Like, we just finished last night, right? I stayed up till 12:30 watching that USC Michigan State game, got to about halftime. But guess what? Next week is looking like an all-timer. You got that Oregon-Penn State game. We're going to be watching that at night. You got Alabama-Georgia. That's going to be a terrific night game. And then those 3:30s that we have. We have Indiana-Iowa. Of course, we have Ohio State and Washington to break down. LSU-Ole Miss is a great one. I can't wait for college football Saturday. And it's also Ryder Cup next weekend.
Oh my goodness! Woo! Oh my goodness!
You were talking
Ryder
Blue
Cup
Jackets
action.
starting up.
You guys were at the Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship yesterday. Had a good time out at Pub 13 as well. I can't believe we barely talked to any Buckeyes today. We really didn't talk any NFL. Just a bunch of Dabo, a bunch of Illinois, Indiana, and a bunch of college football. Hey, speaking of the NFL, coming up later today, the Browns and the Packers right here on The Fan. Coverage of that will begin at 11 a.m. But first, don't go anywhere. Scotty Vegas is sticking around. Dave Biddle is coming in a little on the money for you next. Thanks for listening to The Fan Call-In Show, 97.1 The Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah.